I am very excited to have my next guest join us. Her debut album, Bedroom Walls, is out right now. November Ultra. Hi, thank you so much for doing this.
So happy. So happy.
Yes, welcome to San Francisco.
Thank you.
This is, I believe, your first
performance? Very first time in San Francisco ever.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think as someone from France and not having been here before?
I think that I would like to have more time to actually see the city and just travel around. I have friends that came and it looks amazing. And so I was looking through the window of the cab and I was like, this looks everything. I would really, it makes me want to come back.
You and I have something in common.
Do we?
We do. We were both born in November.
I was hoping that was the one thing we had.
I'm sure that there must be some people that say the same thing to you, right? Like, I'm a Scorpio too.
The thing is, I think the only people that are just happy that November exists are the people that are born in November. Because everyone's like, Halloween is over. I want Christmas to start. November is in the middle.
Right.
Rain, fall. I don't care. But we were like, it's my birthday.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I've always felt that way too. And if you look up, I don't know how it was growing up, but you're like, oh, who do I share a birthday with?
Yes.
Right. And you look up celebrities.
What is your day?
I am 2 days after you, November 9th.
So who do you share? Because I have like loads of amazing people.
I have American celebrities like Nick Lachey.
Yeah.
Who was 98
I
degrees.
see. He was with.
And his wife is also, I think it might also be November 9th, her. Vanessa Manillo. So
okay.
Those two. And then, and then I think that's it.
Because I have a long list. So November 7th is Joni Mitchell. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
Whoa, I didn't know
that. Yeah. Albert Camus. Incredible. Neil Annan from The Divine Comedy. Incredible. So every time I'm like, I have so many, people that I adore that were born on the same day as me.
Yeah, which is very interesting. You and I are in front of the cameras and we're doing things that are outgoing, and the Scorpio trait is a little bit more introverted and right.
But I think it's the introversion means that we kind of create, and it helps us find our place into the world, I think, through that. I don't think I would travel. I'm quite an introvert person. I'm quite shy in a way. People always are surprised because of the fact that I'm on stage and stuff. And so they're like, nah, you're not. But the fact that I do music, the fact that I do my concerts, that allows me to find my place in the world and to travel and to meet people and to discover and to be a bit more, less scared,
right.
More adventurous, let's just say.
When did you find your voice, the bravery, the confidence to be able to break out and do that? Because you just talked about being an introvert. I also kind of kept to myself when I was younger, right? I can probably count on my hand the number of friends that I may still talk to from high school.
One for me.
Yeah, right? So I'm sure it must be similar.
Yeah, I think it's funny because music has always been the most important thing for me. And more than music has been singing. I think I make music and I compose music just because of how much I love singing. At one point, it's not even like, I don't know if I opened myself or if I was like, this is me. And then people came and were like, we want to be your friend. When you're in school and you always have this shy kid and there's always like one person that is really like, oh, I'm going to be your friend, and they're the ones that are more adventurous. I feel very, very lucky because I feel a lot of people have come into my bubble and say like, I see you, I'm like you, I feel what you're feeling. And every time that I do a concert, that's how I feel.
Music was an outlet just to, like everyone else, escape and just dream and connect with the feelings of the song and those artists. And so with you, it's a little bit different. Your grandfather exposed you to Spanish music, right? Which is indigenous to your, upbringing and your parents and where you're from and whatnot. So that's, I think, a little bit different than growing up with The Cure or Depeche Mode and being sad, or growing up with Britney and Backstreet Boys and being all happy and joyful.
It's funny because I think it's complementary in a way, because I grew up with my granddad, and I think the way that grandparents relate to their grandchildren is so different than parents. Because like they've done the educating part with their child, and so now it's you, and they just want to, buy ice cream and do fun stuff. And so with my granddad, it was like he saw in me how obsessive I was, everything they was telling me or showing me. And so it was traditional Spanish music, but it was also like musicals. And so it's like how I got into The Sound of Music. So it was really like 60s musicals. So The Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, French ones, Spanish ones. And I would watch it and I would ask him to play it over and over again, which was crazy because like it's 3 hours. The Sound of Music is really, really long. And I was like, I want to. And I just loved that. And I think I just would go back into my bedroom when I was, a child. And then I would reenact scenes in that. And I think the drama of it just helped me figure out emotions that I wanted to feel. I really wanted to get to be in love. I wanted to learn music. I wanted to do all that stuff. And it was my way of living that, of exploring that. But then also I discovered the Destiny's Child. I was very late bloomer to that because I did classical music first. And then I came into high school and everyone was like Britney Spears, Destiny's Child, Craig David. I was like, who are those people? And like it was Say My Name, like the whole Say My Name thing. And I was like, this is incredible. I need this. And I got addicted to it. And I think it's complementary because I think in my music, what I do has a lot of like musicals from the 60s vibe in a way. But it also like, I do believe in pop music. I believe in that connection that you can feel in a good chorus, in a good, how much feeling, how much meaning you can hide into a song that everyone sings and everyone feels, and all that you can do with just like one really good pop song. And so Britney Spears, and then then it was Led Zeppelin, the album 4. That was my next move, and I was like, oh, this is something new. And then it was The Strokes, First Impression of Earth, and I was like, what is this? And then I was like, I need to read every single interview by Julian Casablancas, and so I would read what he was saying about songwriting, and it was important to me. Because I didn't have like, en aparté, I didn't have the Cure and the Depeche Mode moment. I don't know if I was emo enough to get those, because like even the Smiths, I was like, it's so well written, but I don't know if I relate to the music as much as I relate to the lyrics.
You touched on a variety of artists that I don't think many people would associate your music with. Destiny's Child, Strokes, Led Zeppelin, and
I saw you were shocked. You were like, what?
Right. And we listen to what we listen to, but then what you create is totally different, right? But you would think that some of those artists may seep in terms of sound, songwriting, somewhere.
Julian Casablancas, like there's an interview that I really, really remember. He said, you can write a very complex sentence, but sometimes it will not have as much value as the word baby used, because you can use and sing the word baby so many different ways, because like we write songs, so it has like a 3D kind of thing to it. So it's the way that you sing it, with the melody, with is it in minor, in major, what is going on with the instrumental. So it can be like a plea, like please baby, or it can be like sexy, and I was like, it just kind of blew my mind because I wanted to be very complex. I wanted to be a good writer, And then I was like, he's right. I think simple is so hard to do, and I'm going to be making my music, but he's a songwriter. And I think that was very freeing to me, and it's still very freeing to me and to friends that are artists too, because sometimes when you're a woman in this industry, it's like, oh, she looks like, or she sounds like, oh, she's the next blah blah, which we all have. And sometimes they pit us against each other in a way. It's like, oh, she's coming in for you and for what you're doing. And it's been so freeing to have that talk with my friends and be like, what you do, I'm not able to do, because like I'm not you. I don't have your background, I don't have your story, I don't have your vocals. But what I do, you're not capable of doing. And I think it's very freeing. And when I did the album, it was really like, I want to look at this album and just be like, this is 100,000 millions% me. And so there's Spanish, there's English, but then there's also a lot of singing, and how can I use my vocals to the best of their ability as an instrument, and singing, but obviously also like using it as like monster vocals. How can I distort it? And so I think maybe that's where more of like the Strokes thing is like impacted me, because like, for example, Julian Casablancas always said, my voice is one of the 6 instruments in the Strokes. And in my head, I was like, this is the instrument that I play the best, that I've played the longest. And I went to see the range of what I can do with it. And also then it was, how can I learn how to produce in computer? I want to learn. I don't want someone to do it for me. So I learned how to use Ableton. And that was like so freeing. And so I played so much with every song. And so that's, I think, one of those things that is really liberating, is just to find your way into you as an artist and you as a creator. And I think when we grow up the way that we grew up with albums that we're obsessed with, that you read the lyrics, you read all the credits, you read the thank yous at the end of the album, then you make your own and you're like, this is important to me.
What do you think album number 2 will sound like?
I don't know.
Is there going to be a Led Zeppelin-esque type of vibe?
Honestly, it could, because like, but at the same time, it's not we're not wanting to make their music, but making it the way that they do it. And I think, for example, Stairway to Heaven, because like that's how I got introduced. It was like a big fan. I think there's nothing better than listen to an album or a band introduced by someone that loves them so much. And like that friend, I remember him saying, you have to listen to this, not do anything while you listening to the song. You're going to see the drums, they enter really, he was explaining to me. And then I listened to the song and I was like, Space Mountain, I felt like I was in a roller coaster of emotion. And I was like, I want to feel this all the time. I think what's really liberating about making this is, in my head, I'm like, if it gets to be too much at one point, then I will be very, very happy to just go back to my bedroom and just, take my guitar and do this just for myself and not as a job anymore. If it gets to the point where it's taking more than, then I will go back and I will feel free again.
Right. Well, these songs are meant to be free anyways, a form of expression, the things that you couldn't say verbally in front of someone. So
maybe to my therapist, but she's the only one.
Right? Yeah. And of course your friends that are
listen to my album, because you're helping me pay my therapist.
So lovely to meet you.
It was so lovely.
Really appreciate it, and best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
It is November Ultra right here on B-Sides.